Out these huge animals we know as elephants right there. We just move you around here. It's not that busy today, so that's a good thing. So right now, basically, in the display for Africa, all the different types of animals that once or still do roam there. And as you can see, I have no problem catching attention to that. So that's a beautiful thing. I'm just going to move you guys around quickly as you're joining in or seeing me or whatever the case may be. And I'm going to talk low because I just don't want to be the loudest person in here. You know what I mean? So this right here is the beginning of the Africa exhibit. And I thought that I would do this. This not only in honor of Black History Month, but this in let you guys see how phenomenal this place is. This place is huge. I'm going to pan to the left here. And I'm just in the first entryway right here. And I'll also, as I walk out, I'll also let you guys see that. But all this right here is a display for Africa. All the different types of, this is in Tanzania within East Africa. And then if you go over here, you guys will see there's like everything in that one. Let's see how close I can get right there. I know this is kind of impromptu, guys. I said, you know what? This will be dope. So you guys can see there's all types of different animals and things like that in there. I'm going to pan this one more time because, guys, I'm pressing for time right now. Let's move to the side here. I'll show you guys this a little bit more. I think if I pan that a little bit more, there we go. And you guys can see, these look so lifelike. I don't want to zoom in too much because I will actually go out. Okay, I got a little room here now. Guys, as you can see, this is all displayed for Africa, and I believe these animals right here as well, Tanzania. So I'm going to move around. I'm going to show you guys this a little bit more. There's all kinds of different displays in here of this numerous different animals, things like that. Right now in particular, I'm in the area for Africa. These animals right here are from Sudan, Republic of Sudan. So, and I would think these are some type of, and they have them labeled. So how this all started was I got in a conversation. Hey, David, looks awesome. Thank you. Stay with me, guys, because like I said, I'm going to go to the Africa display and all that stuff. This is just the beginning of it right here, really. So if you guys want, like, outside of the other stuff that you guys were talking about, whatever, check it out right here. Like I said, there's these things right here are huge. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit so you guys can see. And I love the fact that they cleaned the glass because that makes it easier for me. You know what I mean? So as you guys can see, these things are huge. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. As you guys can see. So I'm moving around, and I know I'm moving fast. Here's another angle of the elephants here, guys. If you guys want to see the elephants, I'm going to move up a little bit closer so you can actually get at least some type of feeling of how big they are. The taxidermist made a buck on those. Yeah, he did. And if you guys make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELLE on Cash App. Also, there's an Amazon Pay and a PayPal link there in the description box if you do not have Cash App. Make sure y'all hit that up. Somebody write my Cash App in the comments if you could. $STRINGERBELLE. And also, guys, you can find it right within, not too far, excuse me. You can find it within, not too far, right in the description box. So just click the description box. Make sure y'all go support that. I'm on the move here in New York City. I thought I would do this because I got into a conversation with Miss Faust out in Chicago. Me and her always talking, and one of the things she was asking me about was the night at the museum, because of course she lives in Chicago. And so we got into the discussion. I said, no, a lot of that stuff is CGI they put in there. So if you've ever been to the museum, you would know. Of course, I've been here because I live in Connecticut. It's right next door, but if you guys get to see the size of these things, you know, it's just crazy. And it fits in a whole group, mastodons, everything, you know. These things were huge. And look, I'm going to try to get up a little bit more so you guys can see. Who loves you, huh? Who loves you? All right, guys, we're going to move on a little bit more. I'm going to get into the Africa display or whatever. So you guys stay with me, stay rocking with me. as I move on or whatever. I'm going to pan in a minute here, so I want you guys to see it. This is actually, I believe, one of the tusks of the elephants, which is literally, I'm 6'3". So this thing has got a tower over me at least, I would say at a veritable probably 13 feet. And that's on a guess. I would even go as far as to say maybe possibly 14 feet. So if you guys could just get a hint of how big this thing is. Y'all talk about all that about Africa. Here it is. I'm going to turn this around so you guys can kind of get a view of how big this is. This is an elephant's tusk, and I think this one is like 14 feet, but right there in Africa. Mother civilization, you know, all that, whatever. So that's why I came up here, because I want you guys to see this, have some interest. A lot of you vloggers are not doing your due diligence. A lot of you vloggers are not doing your due diligence. All right, so we're going to walk over here. I'm going to show you guys another display that they have. Once again, informative with Africa, different things for Africa and things like that or whatever. And right now, while I've got a chance and there's nobody sitting right there, I'm going to zoom in on this elephant one more time so you guys can see how huge these things are. All right, so rock with me. So you guys can see these things are huge. And I'm going to turn the camera around on me so you can see how big they actually were. Now, mind you, it's probably like a good veritable of a couple of feet, but if you can just get a hint, this is how I would stand over top of you in Africa. That's huge. So if you guys can't see, there's a bench right here. And that bench is probably about a good, I don't know, maybe 4 feet or something like that. I'm 6'3", so you know what I mean? That gives you any veritable how tall these things were. You know, and even if it was down on the ground level, it would still be towering over me. All right, guys, so we're going to keep on moving. We're going to go over here to the next display. I hope everybody's doing well today. I know I kind of do these like impromptu ones sometimes, and I'm not talking about stars or the music business or anything like that. So let me take you guys over here. Okay, so this is vast system of the earth. I want to make sure, thank you. I want to make sure I go to the right way. But while I'm here, hey, why not, right? So, guys, this is some type of bug display that I've ran into. All kinds of different bugs. Let me pan this camera out a little bit more. I know all you guys are going to see this on the rebroadcast. That's the weird thing about it. But these are all different types of insects. And when this guy gets past me, I'm going to show you guys the texture of them, because I'm pretty sure they did some type of modeling in the spectrum of how they looked as far as DNA and up close and zoomed in. These things are huge in comparison to what you would see on a regular. So these are just basically, if I had to make a guess, some type of high microscope was used in accompaniment of producing these pictures. And they are amazing. You get to see up front and personal what these bugs really look like. This is amazing, man. This is some type of beetle right here. I'm not sure what kind. I know you guys are going to see this on the rebroadcast, and I hope you do, because I want you guys to see something dope. So I made sure I shared that again. I don't always go, I got to start doing that. I got to start announcing my lives. Maybe that'll make a difference. So these are all the extinct and endangered species right here. So we're going to go back this way. All right, y'all guys walk with me. We're going to go back this way, and we're going to see if we can find the other display. Matter of fact, here's somebody. You work here, yeah? Where's the Africa display at?
African people you're looking for?
Yeah, people look like me. And you. Okay. All right, so we got this nice gentleman. He's going to help me get over here and try to find out where the actual total display is. So just give me a second, guys. We're walking. Okay, and we found it. Too shabby.
So the total is that's the African people.
Okay.
And we have the African mammals on the other side.
That's where I just came from. Yeah, he said it was over this way. I just didn't know where.
The entire hall to the end.
Thank you very much. Okay, guys, so I'm back. And I'm now over here, African People's Display or whatever. So this is my little gift, or whatever you want to say, Black History Month here. But right now I'm looking at Polkat's woman. I don't know. I think that sounds like, Polkat ever sounds like something like East Africa. By the looks of it, yes. This is definitely East African. And you guys can see into this stuff right here. It's beautiful. But this is the real deal right here. Not the stuff that everybody talks about and everything right there. So if all you guys, this right here, I believe are different types of spears and weapons. And this right here looks like it was used to make food. Yeah, that definitely looks familiar. That looks like something that you would use to mush food up, or possibly even grain, or even some type of weaponry or something like that. Right here, some pots, things of that nature. And all that stuff, like I told you guys, this is authentically from Africa. Now this right here is the Pokat mixed farmer. So this one I was correct. And I guess this is an interpretation by that bust, if you guys can see it or not, of what they probably actually look like, or based off DNA analysis. Make sure I share this again. All right, guys, so now we're going to move over here. This is so embarrassing. Everyone's going to see this at the every podcast, but whatever. This right here is the grasslands. So I'm particularly saying this is probably still East Africa. We should say it. Yeah, the fertile uplands of Eastern Africa. Boom, how did I know? So this is the hats that you guys see sometimes. They're actually traditional of Africa, Eastern Africa. These are some type of ceremonial mask, I'm assuming, that they used to wear right here. It's quite unique. And you guys can't, I wish you guys could really see the texture of this. It looks like they used some type of beans or something like that were hardened to make the actual cast. I don't know if you guys could see that too good or too well. But it looks like they definitely put some emphasis into it. It almost looks like a scarecrow mask, to be honest with you. This is some type of hatchet, I'm assuming, that they used maybe for different things, meeting, particularly probably hunting. But if you can see how primitive and how simple this is, I mean, it literally just has a hook on top of it to somehow position to keep that in order and in place. And so even with a flex of your arm at about, I don't know, 80 miles per hour, you could literally break that thing. Here's some more, and this is from the trade. So Growth of a State, Divine Kings, it's titled Conquest States. Now, I think this will probably go with something to an Atlantic slave trade here. This is what some of those that may have captured, those such as Ghana and other places right there. It said a great migration to West Africa, along with the Nile, reached the south quite late. Yeah, so this is all the weapons that these will be used by migrants, if you would call them by definition now, that went and flourished. It's so amazing how I see so many people peeping in and they just peep right out. You're not even worried about your own history, but you talk all that stuff so something goes down. It's amazing. This right here, I believe it's some type of replica of different stones that they use. There's some beautiful quartz stones too. So many minerals and everything come out of Africa. It's ridiculous. Diamonds, the most prevalent. And this right here is World Views, it calls it. And this is from another East African tribe. They have particularly a lot of East African stuff here, which is interesting. I haven't ran into anything Western African, but that is as of yet. So give me a second here. And this is Women, Land, and Home. This one is titled. And I guess this will be the domesticated utensils, attire, etc. that will be used in the preparation of food, etc. Yeah, right down at the bottom, domestic authority. So, yeah, definitive is basically women committing to the men and working in, I guess you could say, unison. This is all Eastern African right here once again. So I haven't reached anything actually Western African. This is actually some type of crown that looks to be or something like that. If you guys could just see the details, I'm gonna try to zoom in. There we go. Those are actually like feathers. It's amazing. And they look so similar to almost like American Indians and what they used or whatever. And up here you have different types of hatchets, things like that. I'm pretty sure that aided them in hunting, blah, blah, blah. Now this right here is unique because it says ritual. So I'm wondering what they mean by ritual. I'm zooming this out a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more. But as you guys can see, These are some type of stones, and I'm trying to get behind it. It's like a bowl right here. I'm pretty sure that was used to mix some concoction or something like that. So if they particularly mean witch doctor or whatever the case may be, these are some of the things I guess that they're saying that they used here and accompanied to whatever magic or whatever, particularly probably that drum right there, which brings forth a lot of seances and things like that. These are the pygmies. Now this is interesting right here. The pygmy people they always get, in my opinion, they get extracted from the conversation whenever we talk about Africa. The pygmy people that you see nowadays even make up some of like the regions of like what you see in Peru, in my opinion, and a lot of other places with the Incas and Mexicans. You always get these tribes within that are smaller and minute than other cultures are in the same surrounding regions. And for whatever reasons, people don't know why, for some reason or another, but it happens. So this right here was all the utensils, I guess, all combined into one, and what they would use probably for hunting, inclusive of maybe this right here looks like something that would have been in food preparation, maybe perhaps drying the food out or salting the food, and then hanging it on here for a couple of days or whatever to preserve it, being the terrain they were in. Most of these people they were in, I think it probably will say it up here, hunting hands a necessity in continual state of flux. And leadership, and so goes on, the communal affair. But each hand is firmly united by awareness and utter dependence on its force. The force supplies of necessities to the lot. So yeah, these people, they lived in the forest, like I said. So it's amazing how they did that. Now this right here, this is some more. And now we're going into the Congo. This is the Congo right here. And now you're getting to see how they, and like I said, it's so interesting because depending on where you go, most of the people that make up the constitute of African American, I guess, come from 4 Pacific regions, Ghana being the most prolific because of the pure simple fact that's where they actually did the trade with the Spaniards and the Portuguese, right? But it's just amazing because the continent is so big itself. All these individual states, all they had their own traditions, all had their own different means of celebration or whatever. This is the Congo River Basin. It's marked by stable fairs, agriculture, and led and powerful, complies monarchies. Yeah, so they lived by monarchies. It's like the Portuguese at the time. The Great Congo Empire already flourished when the Portuguese arrived in 1482 eastwards of Cuba. Enforcing peace, built a great empire based on that trade. So this is basically this remnants that they found based on the trade that they did, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That could be, I don't know. I mean, if they're in the museum, they're considered antiquities, I guess, right? And it depends on whose scope you're looking for. Well, appreciate it for what it must be, I'm gonna share this one more time. Guys, if I was talking about Cardi B right now, it would be so many of y'all in here. I do something different. I have to do different stuff because if I don't, my channel becomes just like a all about celebrities channel every 5 minutes. So every now and then I like to take a break and just do something regular. So we're not talking about stars today. We're not talking about Cardi B or anybody else. We're just moving and grooving, all right? So stick with me. Over here, we got some more. I don't know what this is. This is like a hide of some type of animal right here. I don't know. Many traditional African societies believe the world was permeated with a powerful, vital force found in stones, metals, and other increment and vegetable matter. It is stronger in the animals and still more powerful in a man. The force can be trapped and used for good or evil. Yeah, like I said before, somebody tried to bring that up with me in a conversation. So I guess these, once again, are different utensils that we use in the allocation of magic and things like that, or things that they found sacred. So this is some type of hide that's been braided, it looks like. If I had to make a guess, it looks like some type of minx or something like that. I can't make it out, but it looks like some type of minx or small animal like that. And then these are other things, like I said. All this in modern day, in the Caribbean, would be considered like Santeria, Shango, dog magic, etc., etc., etc. So this is all the stuff that you see right here. And this right here as well, it looks like, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. This is like some kind of fur, hair, something. whatever it is, it's interesting. And go down here, and once again, you'll see the detail in this stuff is amazing. Like this is made out of some type of rope. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's like rope, and it's actually the hide of something behind it, and then there's a statue that's attached to it. So the part that you see in the back is actually like fur attached to it. These are some more statues right here. All inclusive. This little family spirits, it says right here. It's too small. Let me see if I zoom in on this. You guys can see it. Yeah, the family spirits. The family, an intense and spiritual entity for the dead and unborn, are widely to believe as much as part of the living, just as the animals and humans have more force and intimate objects. So spirits have more than humans. Family mountain and shrine is not only to honor the ancestral spirits, but thus secure the general protection, but also seek specific and special times that generally involve the family as such. Yeah, and all that jumbo. Everybody see this on the rebroadcast. Only the greatest crisis of tribal spirits invoked, and only a doctor or priest properly initiated and trained can reach them. So this is all basically like, once I said it's redundant right now, but it's basically the same edge and step into spirituality, dark magic, etc., 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 and all these pieces, I guess, are somehow representative of that. All right, this is Divinity and Authority. That's what's called right here. And this, amazingly enough, is made up of smaller objects, as you can see right here. Let me zoom in on these real quick so you guys can see them while you're watching. But these are some type of like smaller objects, and I'm figuring these were individually owned by people. Now let's see what we have here and see what it says. The Ashanti brass weight. So we're dealing with the Ashantis right here. For weighing gold is remarkable. So these were definitely his possessions, personal possessions, had no type of spiritual connection, as you see with the more simpler pieces behind me, which are obviously, there's a huge difference. I mean, just an ounce of those materials I saw right there are gold. And for gold, these are pretty big, you know? Like these are gold pieces. Maybe copper mixed in with them, some of them. But this is all right here, also from the divine presence. This is the Ashanti tribe right here of Africa. And this is some of the things that they use both in spirituality and also as a combine of, I guess, to show not necessarily dominance, but wealth and dominance. I'm gonna walk over here, guys. You guys can see this a little bit more. This is mass, and as I just mentioned, mass and social control. How about that? I couldn't have made a better entrance myself with that one vocally. These are, I would assume, masks that they use to different rituals. Maybe sometimes in raiding, some of these more simpler masks probably would have been used by multiple individuals. So if you would have saw this coming over a hill or something like that, you probably would have been pretty intimidated. This one right here they put a lot of unique structure on this one. Let me zoom in on these a little bit more. They're made out of the most simplest materials, like that's some type of shells right there. And as you can see, the eyes, same thing, beads I've seen mixed in or whatever. All these are representative of Africa. And I'm not sure what part of Africa this particular display is, but most of them have been West Africa. East Africa. Let me zoom this out a little bit more so you guys can see all these in there. So I figured I'd do my thing here for the children. This right here, this is craftsmanship. Now these are pretty unique, guys. These are, I guess, some type of different statues or whatever. I'll get into what tribe this is. Some of them, they don't have that on it. Like, okay, this is the West Africa and the Congo. All right, so, but that doesn't particularly mean it was made there particularly. It just happens to be what it is. And as you guys can see right here, this is another type of vase that looks like it was basically woven and maybe fired, tuned with mud or something like that to harden it. All this stuff is unique. As you can see, and right in the middle right here, you have a chair. And as you can see, this chair right here, It's very small, so I'm pretty sure it's decorative more than it is, or maybe ceremonial. And speaking of chairs, his this is beyond impressive right here. And let me zoom in on this chair right here for you guys, so you guys can see this. Now that probably was used as some type of throne preparation chair, something like that, or whatever. We're going to read in on it. The spirit world focused on religious life in traditional Africa, explained the world of the living, and offered hope, encouragement, and promise of the afterlife, affirming the power of greater than man's. With many systems embracing the creator God, folk believe directly approachable, but spirits approachable in varying degree bridge the gap between the living and the creator, and an animal spirit could be conveyed through some of its power, whether cunning, strength, speed, or ferocity was the respected but used, not worship. Worship was only the ancestral spirits, but often represented by the figurines and masks and by the vacant throne or stool wherein dwelt the people founding ancestors. A veneration of spirits, all-knowing, all-powerful, and the following ancestral way and good and assumed afterlife. So basically, this is mostly this conducive to the same thing you would see in Egyptian folklore or whatever, and the beliefs where they buried their dead, built, representations of it all across the world, whatever culture it's in. I mean, there's multiple cultures. The Mayans did it. We're now finding out Ukrainians did it. We're now finding out all these things are connected. I want to throw this in, right? All of these are connected, amazingly enough, by the stars. They are automatically aligned, no matter where these different pyramids are found. So far, even the ones they just found in Ukraine, there were some other ones they found in Uzbekistan, I think it was, or whatever. They're finding more as they're unearthing different vegetations are surrounding some of them. Some of them it's different reasons. Some of them have been caved in for years or whatever. Some of them just sheer brush, and you don't have an aerial view. All right, so now I'm over here, and this is early hunters and farmers. All right, and these are a little bit more prepped. These are actually whole costumes. It seems like they reassembled. But these are just, if you guys could just, I wish you were here, you could just see the texture and the detail that was taken into these. And like I said, once again, the simplest objects are used. This is, once again, these are shells. And these look like shells of a mussel or maybe some type of sea urchin or something like that they probably consumed and shells were left over. This is another outfit right here. And I'm assuming all these are from West Africa. These are some other ones. I'm pretty sure these were the ceremonial, mostly, if anything. But let me give you an example of the scale of them. These probably would have said decorative in someone's home or something like that, maybe when you entered, whatever the case may be. This right here is pretty interesting. This looks like some type of, I don't know. I want to say it's a mask, but it looks too heavy to be a mask, but at the same time it doesn't, because I've seen some huge masks that they have. Once again, this is another different type of body paints, things like that. This lab right here, he looks like someone that's some type of shaman or something. And if you guys can't see this, at the bottom of his mask that he would have wore, that actually looks almost like a baby leopard maybe, or something like that. Like you can literally see, that's where its eyes were right there. It looks like some type of baby leopard or something like that. And with the mask, what they did was, and also the hat as well, what they did was they replaced it and repurposed it and put it as a beard. And you can see his legs. The detail is just immaculate. You couldn't believe it if you were here yourself. This is amazing. This is all that continent, Africa. This one right here is sacred societies. That ain't that interesting. Don't. All right, so let me zoom in on this real quick. This is for all you, theorists and everything like that. Sacred societies have been varied functions in supporting moral, economic, and political welfare. Membership comes only through initiation, limited to those that consider it fit. The initiations vary, some testing and fortifying moral character, others developing stronger. I'm reading this through the camera, y'all, so don't think I'm slow or something. I'm reading this through the camera, because if I try to read this any other way, I'm gonna squint my eyes and kill myself. The act of initiation, So it's basically just like any other geo society or whatever the case may be, and now you have proof that it has its roots in Africa or whatever. But we knew this by the Greeks, we knew this by the Romans, and many other people that had secret societies or whatever, whatever. So that's not really a surprise there. All right, guys, so I'm gonna move down this area. See what's down here. We got more stuff down here. And this is now entering the desert. So, oh yeah, and before I pass it, I look to the left. This is like one unique one right here. This one, look at this. Look at the detail on this. And this is from Liberia. So this is more where African Americans are from, Liberia region. This is the reasons of a war with Ghana at the time. So we could talk about trade or whatever, Liberia, Monrovia, many other places over there, whatever. So you guys can see this stuff. This stuff is huge. Let me back up a little bit. I'm gonna show you guys the scale of this thing because I'm 6'3", right? And this thing, I'm gonna turn the camera around. Let me show you. And this is like maybe give or take 2 feet. So that's how big this thing is. You see that? And scale the size. That's right here. You guys will see this is another one. And this is some type of mask. All right, guys, let me walk you down here. There's a lot more to show y'all. This says savanna cultivation. So let's see what area of Africa this is in. This is all spread out. So this is a nomadic tribe. So nomadic meaning that they traveled, moved around like gypsies, etc., etc. I'm sure y'all familiar. And so this is what some of the things that they would ascertain along the way, build, or whatever the case may be. This obviously I could tell was used for some type of irrigation purposes. If I had to make a guess, it was probably the facilitation of trying to cultivate rice, maybe, or something like that. It was used for some type of cleaning purposes or whatever. If I had to say, I would say some type of vegetable, fruits. Meat wouldn't make sense because then it's broke concoction, so that wouldn't make sense. But it was used for something in that area, irrigation. And then down here, you've got what I probably would consider some type of earmuffs or something like that. It looks like something or ceremonial. Let's see what it says here. The Shinnegambians, the desert western fringes of those of the Stanavanian in places that turn to forest, but elsewhere. So I guess these people were coming out of the desert and they returned to forest or whatever, or at least searched out for that. It's kind of hard to read this stuff because like the background's orange and then the letters are black. So it's kind of like, and it's not that lit in here as y'all think it may be. All right, guys, I'm gonna walk over here. This is water and politics. And as I was talking about irrigation, here we are. So this right here gives kind of like a detail of how they use, and even to this day, right, there's been so many discoveries, like this right here is just crazy. There's been so many discoveries of how different societies within Africa, within the Middle East, etc., use points of irrigation. Even the Greeks and the Romans, the same thing. If you look at even the remnants of Jesus Christ, what was it called, that got destroyed by the volcano? I'm having a brain spasm right now, but it was the same thing with them. There was a lot of these areas that they discovered that ran for miles in some stretches, and they had irrigation systems. They had systems to basically, if you want to say, circumnavigate water from one distant location to another. And it's been proven over and over and over again. And here's one of those examples of that. And I was just talking about that. I said, I know that has to be used for some type of farming or some type of individual's purpose or whatever. And like I said, irrigation. So as you see right here, here's an example of how they irrigated and farmed or whatever, from very basic places. I want to emphasize that, very basic places, and many of times from a long set distance. So if you can see that man sitting right there, you can imagine. That's almost like, in today's standards, what would be a turbine. This is this man, So the study of irrigation, the study of how the Middle East, how the Greeks and many others cultivated and made it into where it was. But the Africans, they definitely had the premise for it from the beginning. And this is some other type of concoction, which I'm sure was used. You see they used the bull with this one to irrigate. So the sound infrastructure of everything, irrigation. Without anything growing there, you cannot live there. Now, right over here, I'm walking into Islam, and of course, it's synonymous with Africa. I'm pretty sure some of these knives were used in the Crusades. That horn right there is crazy. Look at this bag right here. This bag is just bananas. I actually love doing this with you guys today. This was definitely different. Now, this right here I'm about to zoom in on. Wizard Islam, if you're watching this, Wizard Islam, if you're watching this right here. This might be one of the oldest Qurans there is. Has, okay, first of all, this has a animal hide, all right? This has an animal hide. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Chinese, they were actually wasn't really initiated parchment paper, right? Rice, they used at first initially or whatever, and parchment came slowly after so you could write on or whatever the case may be. But before then, they used to use leather, which you call today. Cow hides, animal hides, and different structures or whatever, and they'd write on them. That's what you're seeing right there with that Quran. Right here, this looks like some type of warriors outfits or whatever, and I'm saying that because there's a sword here, so I'm saying that's probably something that was used to fight against in the wars in the Crusades. Don't you want to become a Christian? You got to. So you guys see all this different type of this mask and ceremonial stuff or whatever. But this Quran right here, I'm taking special interest in because it looks like it's written in well, it's similar. The dictation is almost looks Amharic, but I'm pretty sure it's probably some type of, what would you call this modern day? I'm not sure, but it almost looks Hebrew or Amharic, the way it's written. And this right here, as I'm looking at this, I didn't even pay close attention to it. I gave the definition of what I was saying right here, as you can see. They used this and wrote on this. So this might have been some type of parchment or something like that for whatever involving Islam. So that is something definitely good to know. I'm gonna run over here, guys, see what else is over here that I haven't caught yet. This right here is desert hunting. Desert hunting. So this is at a different, oh, look at this. This is like something, this is like an actual cave painting that they chipped out. Now that's remarkable. Right down below right here, you'll see they had sneakers and shoes or whatever. These would have been representatorial as well at the times in Egypt. They would have differed very much, being that the period was shortly after. Most of this stuff I'm pretty sure was ascertained by whatever individual sources around the world. These museums, it doesn't matter if it's the one in London, it doesn't matter where it is, they all individually trade amongst each other, even lens and everything else. So you'll see a lot of these museums that have special days where they actually have an exhibit that came in from England or came in from the Smithsonian or came in from numerous different places and put it on display for a short amount of time. All right, guys, so now I'm walking out of African peoples and we're going to see what else we got over here. I hope you guys like that, and stay with me because I've got a lot more stuff to show you. I know this is unnatural for what I usually do, but you know what? I decided to do something different today. And before I leave, I don't want you guys to see this one. I don't want to miss a thing. These look like another group of different masks or whatever. That one right there is like real unique with the horns. Let me zoom into that a little bit. Look at that. That is crazy. I would love to have that on my wall. And these are different masks. This is a very unique, it looks like some type of, even though it looks ceremonial, it looks like some type of axe or something like that. And this right down below here is like some type of vase, maybe been used as an urn. I'm not sure where the Africans stood as far as cremation. I know different cultures within Africa have different stances on it. So I'm not sure how they stand with it or whatever. But I know some people, they do burial, especially Islam. You'll bury the body within a certain amount of hours. Bury the body. Let me turn this back around. You'll bury the body in Islam for a specific amount of hours. If it's in a specific amount of hours, for like 48 hours, you're supposed to bury the body or whatever the case may be. But as far as cremation, I'm not very sure as far as the stance on that. Now, I'm in the other room now for Africa, and I'm just turning this around and pan this around here so you guys can see some more of these displays. And then this is a little bit more intricate, this is Middle America, they're calling it. These are jaguar claws along with other different types of stones and rhinestones that have been all coursed together to make different sorts of jewelry, etc., etc. Life-size massive extreme stylization of a jaguar aspect. So this was meant to somehow or another emulate a jaguar, the jaguar spirit. Let me zoom in on this a little bit more. How unique is that? I see some things made out of jade, etc. Move over here, you see some other articles. That's definitely jade, opal, different types of material. There's so many different multitudes of different materials that I've seen that have been used and utilized, from shells, beans, straws, feathers. It's crazy. Now this right here, I guess this is Mexico and Central America, all right? So this right here is given a display. And the reason I did that is because it was so synonymous with the different materials that all of them were used as. So it's like when I was in the African display, it was so many different types of materials that were being used and utilized or whatever to make masks, straws, everything. And so I see the same textualization over here in Mexico and Central America. So it's like, it's amazing. It's almost like a doppelganger in many ways. And I mentioned earlier, like I said, when I was talking about the pyramids and how they all link up. Now, y'all ain't really think I was gonna come in here and I go to Latin America, right? Okay. This looks like the Mesopotamia period. Yeah, pre-classic period of Middle America. And it's crazy how they call it the Middle America, right? It sounds like Middle Earth.
All the hobbits were over here. Where? Middle America.
Where's Frodo? I'm bugging. But these are all the different. And that one right there is really detailed. Let me zoom in on this one right here. Look at the detail on that. And the coloring, everything is just amazing. But this is all that now. This is the big boy right here. And I've filmed this one before. I've taken pictures in front of this one before, but this is the big boy. Now, this right here you'll find in Mexico. They found these in, I think, unison rolls, like right beside each other. I'm not sure how many it was, but I think the most they found was like 7 or 8 of them stacked place to place amongst each other. To give you a scale of how big these are, there's probably 2-foot rise at the most. Okay, I'm 6'3", right? So if you guys can see the scale of this thing was huge. All right, so to this day, people are still trying to figure out, how did people actually move these things? How were they created? How did they set them up next to each other? Nobody will ever know. All right, I've heard a couple people say levitation and all kinds of other different things, but no one will actually know. So, but this thing is huge, as you can see. It's really huge. Now, I'm going to take you guys down a little bit more because I got to hurry this up because they're going to be closing in a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but in a while. And we'll get to the dinosaurs and everything like that, I promise. But this is this other archives, Latin America. And like I said, as you see, and they're literally right next to each other. The African display and the what's the name display. So take that in context. Because even as you can see with the jewelry, it is uniquely similar. Now, all this right here, this is a display. This is from Western Mexico. All right, if you guys are going to have to go back, you can catch out Africa. I started out with Africa or whatever. But what I want you to do is do the comparison as far as like the craftsmanship, the utensils that they use, the pieces that they use to carve, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You will find unilaterally there's a lot of similarities in this stuff that is just amazing how it's crazy. Like this right here looks exactly like the statues that I just showed you guys. It's not even 2 minutes ago before I walked out that room, you know? So we've got a lot of different similarities right here. I see a lot of different things with this stuff right here. All right, so now right behind me, this is the same thing. Antiquities Agorera. So as you guys can see right here, it's a whole bunch of different And once again, you'll see the same things utilized in the creation of a lot of the stuff, the bowls, the carvings. This one right here has in particular some type of thing that almost looks like hieroglyphics to a certain extent, but it's not. It's just some type of inlay. But this stuff is beautiful. Y'all would be surprised. Here's some more statues right here. I believe I could tell this is Mayan or either Inca, one of the two, as well, Mexico. As you guys can see, the detail that's put into these statues, everything else is just amazing. And the pan is real slow. And guys, make sure you go back and watch the rebroadcast, and you guys can check this out from the beginning. I started out in a display about Africa, and now I moved over here to Mexico. And I wanted to show you the parallels for one. Two, that definitely was used for some type of Santeria, Chango or something. Definitely was. And yeah, it's a form of spirituality. So as you guys can see here, and this is Central Mexico, Maya. Yeah, like I said, it's a pretty good Mixtecs. And these are the cultures that mostly involve themselves in what you guys would call sacrifices and things like that. So as you guys can see, all that's representatory right here. And some of these things, I'm pretty sure these people would have passed on their way towards being sacrificed. Mayans, Aztecs, etc., amongst the pyramids. But it's amazing architecture here. Let's go some more over here, see what else they got over here. There's so many things. Let's get the statue right here, guys. Look at this. And you know what? This is a unique thing. Just like, I want to zoom in on this. I want you guys to see this. Holy crap. Look at this right here. I want you guys to see something. Let me bring this back a little bit. Just like the Sphinx, like a lot of people don't know this, they blame Napoleon for it. But as you can see, the nose is missing. Now, this is the same thing that happened, and a lot of people said that Napoleon did it, or whatever, but he chopped the nose off in disrespect. And a lot of people don't know if he meant it to disrespect in a racial platform, but meant to disrespect in a hierarchy. You know, I guess nobody will never know because we haven't spoken to Napoleon. I don't care either way. But one thing that, and it could have happened in an accident, but one thing that sticks out to me is that nose is missing, just like the same thing you see on the hieroglyphics, which was attributed to Napoleon, but who knows. All right, so once again, that almost looks, look at this. Doesn't it almost look like it's Egyptian? Because that's why I said the similarities in the architecture is crazy. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing here. This is some type of faith or another. I'm staying zoomed in, guys, because I don't want to keep going in and out to get you guys dizzy. But as you guys can see, there's a lot of different stuff in here. I just want to make sure I get through all of it or whatever. What time are we running on here? Okay, we're good. Guys, make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. I know I'm not talking about stars, anything like this. So when you see that, I don't think I've ever had this low of numbers in my life, ever. But it's all good. I know all of you guys will watch the rebroadcast, so that's fine enough for me. I should have threw me and Cardi B at the museum. Y'all all would have been on that one, huh? Hit the like button. But every now and then I got to utilize my channel and all these followers for something else other than this, talking about different artists and the music industry. I get so bored talking about the music industry. Shout out to my brothers I had to meet with the other night. We had a good time for Bad Boy Entertainment, but I get so tired of talking about the music industry. Sometimes I just like to do normal stuff, you know what I mean? And this is something normal, and I think it's a celebration, not only cultures, but this in general. This is Maya. This is the Mayans again. And I so badly want a cigarette right now, you guys don't even know. Okay, now this is amazing. This was worth the whole trip over here. Do you guys see this? Look at this, I'm gonna zoom in. Look at the detail. Once again, almost reminiscent of what you see in Africa. So reminiscent, so clearly similar. or whatever. It keeps you raising the question with all these pyramids and all these things in all different parts of the world. How is it that they not only connect on a how could you say, a celestial level, as far as the constellations and the stars, they all connect with each other, all these different pyramids or whatever. But this right here, this is in a Mayan exhibit room, I guess you want to say, and you guys get to see the height of this. Now this right here is measurable a little bit better for me. I'm 6'3", and as you can see, the height of this. Now I'm holding this camera up high right now, so y'all guys can see how big this thing is. It really reaches the ceiling. It's huge. I'm going to pan back over here for a second. And as you can see, as I was talking about before, these are the different structures they had built. These are replicas of it. This is from the Mayan period, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And this is just to give detail of how they built. This is what you commonly mostly see when you're seeing sacrifices or whatever the case may be, which will be at the top. They will walk up to the top of it or whatever. I saw a video not too long ago, some lady, she decided to walk up to the stairs of the pyramid or whatever, and they gave it to her when she came down. They were throwing water on her, throwing apples at her. I was like, oh, you picked the wrong day to do that. And by every means, she looked like a local, so she knew better, you know? But here's some more. And like I said, this is a Mayan exhibit. I just looked at the African exhibit. You guys make sure you go back on the rebroadcast, watch the whole thing. Don't worry, don't you worry yourself. We're going to talk about the superstars and everybody else in a little bit. I got a special live for you guys tonight of what I'm going to be doing, so you guys can check that out. But like I said, sometimes I just like to do regular stuff and have a regular day. So as you guys can see, it's amazing. And once again, you see the panther or the jaguar represented. They must have been really tight on the antiquities. I've seen it from two different sources. I've seen it from Europe and I've seen it from Africa. They're very tight on the antiquities there for some reason or another, but they're so lax on the ones coming out of South America, which is interesting. It's like hugely interesting. Like I said, a lot of these different museums, they share exhibits. So, you know, it might be 6 months here, it might be 6 months over there, it might come over from Europe, it might come in from the Smithsonian, it may come from anywhere. But all the different national and international museums across the world, they all share exhibits to some point or another on land or whatever for a few months or just a specific time. I'm going to show you guys a scale of how big this is. And I don't even think I can get it in the whole entire camera, so I'm going to have to walk forward. But if you guys can see how big that thing is. And the detail to it is this. You would not believe it. Like, look at the detail, guys. This is clearly freaking crazy. I'm going to talk about something else in a little bit, guys. Not yet. I've run into some nasty women today. That's going to be the topic of my life, probably. I mean, some nasty women. This mean spirit. Like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you're at the museum. Have some fun. They just, yeah. Yeah, you know. Don't worry, I'll talk about it later. All right, so I'm going to carry you guys out of here because, like I said, we're not pressed for time, but I just want to make sure I get all through here and show you everything that I want to show you. Okay, so, yeah. Big time guy comes to the museum to start trouble. He's supposed to be here learning. Through the streets out there. All right, guys. So I'm going to walk down here to the next end. We'll see what we can find down there. I think it's down this way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you guys a little bit further down. I'm going to show you some of the stuff as I'm walking. Like I said, I'm not going to stop too much. I mean, really, the only thing you're seeing is birds here. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all are interested in birds, but it's different. What's the name? But I want to get you guys to the specific display that I've been wanting to take you guys to, which is, of course, the dinosaurs, because I know that's what everybody wants to see. So just bear with me for a few minutes. whatever. Trust me, I'm not gonna waste your time. I would have came all the way down here from Connecticut today if I was gonna do that. So give me a few minutes. Let's find out. Dinosaurs. Where are the dinosaurs, guys? Fourth floor? Oh, can I?
Entrance with dinosaur, keep going left.
Okay, thank you. All right. I'm not sure. I think I just walked into another exhibit. I'm not sure which one. I think it might be Mongolian. Turkey to Siberian. Close enough. So I wanted to stop by here. I wanted to make sure I got this. This is for all my Asian brothers and sisters out there. Make sure you check this out. Wow. Would you look at this stuff here? This is crazy, guys. And this is all, yeah, Russia and Asia. So like I told you guys all the time, there's so many different stories that are not told about different people that you would have never expected that were actually involved in, cultivated, colonized. In this case right here, this is telling the story of the colonization of the Russians of many parts of Asia. Even to this day, I mean, we talk about Mongolia or whatever, but look at this outfit, right? This is a piece of clothing here. If you guys could see the detail, I think that's some type of muskrat or something like that, but you could definitely tell that was done with some type of ink in some way or fashion. I mean, just look at this. And then it has like women in dresses around it. That is beautiful. And so over here, we have this coat right here. Look at this. Now, in that region over there, and that's why I pointed out Siberia, not Siberia, but these places actually I've never even heard of. This is Samoyed. The Samoyed area is Aboriginal people. So yeah, that's probably why I haven't heard of them. This is like an Aboriginal tribe. So like, once again, like a nomad type of tribe. So yeah, and it's depictive of, like, this is a whole, let me see if I can get it in here. This is a whole bobsled right here, which I'm pretty sure they probably used to, I would say probably the front portion was for one reason. The bottom portion was definitely to navigate somehow or another, I guess, sliding down or trekking. And right here, you can see he had what you would call today a pair of Timberlands or something. And right here, some snowshoes. So these are handmade snowshoes. Look at that. And it look like they use twine, some type of rope, whatever the case may be. But if you guys can see the detail of this outfit, like, look at the arm guards on there. I mean, forget Thor. This guy had it going on. This was the Thor of his time. You know what I mean? And they look like they're made of some type of sheet metal fused together with some other type of, actually, like, it looks like some type of precious metals, and they've just been stitched together. And you guys can see that right there. It has been literally just anchored amongst each other. It's crazy. All right, let me show you guys what else we've got in here. There's some interesting stuff in here. All right. So over here is the continuation of it. It's just like little figurines and stuff. I'm not going to stop too much for that. But this right here, okay, this makes the camera. And if you guys can see, this is some type of horse or whatever the case may be. But look at the detail in this thing. I would never have this in my house. This looks scary as hell. That looks like the djinn or the devil's coming for you, right? You guys see that? But the detail on it is impeccable. I don't want to be too much and stare at that. And then up here, there's three others. This is all from the Asian, Mongolia, Siberia, many of those areas. I just witnessed and learned something new, that Russia actually had some part in Asia as far as, well, you know, colonization. So that was something to know. That I swear to God, the Europeans have been everywhere. China, Africa, you name it. Somehow or another, emphasizing all the way back to the Crusades. But look at these. And this is from India. Now, I'm going to press this against the glass so you guys can really see without the glare. But I hope you guys can see the detail in that. beautiful Indian woman. But this is all Indian culture, inclusive, I'm pretty sure, Punjabi, province, and everything else around there. A lot of people, because I had to learn that myself. When you talk about the sheiks or sheikhs or what, I forgot how you pronounce it, the word like the little mini turban. A lot of people confuse them with being Indian, but they're not Indian. It's almost like Eritrea, Ethiopia, you know? And over here, we got a couple other little things here. I think this is vases, statues and bust. Yeah, pretty much the same. I'm gonna make my way, but I wanted to stop in here because I wanted to make sure I caught all the cultures. Now you can look at this. This is tribal Southeast Asia. But if you just look at this outfit, you can see where the Russians were definitely inspired for the entire early, Slavic periods of the 18, 17, maybe 1600s. You can definitely see the inspiration they got from those tribal nomadic people. I mean, that almost looks like almost identical to it. This right here, I believe what is her name? This is Vietnam now. I'm into right now, guys. This is Vietnam. Southeast Asia. But Vietnam is very dark in here. So it's hard to, I have to be right up on things. Now, wow, we got an actual burial of some type of body or something like that, I guess, that they found. That's crazy. I know y'all want to talk a little bit about hip hop and everything. Thanks for everybody coming in and giving the likes. I appreciate it, even if you're not interested. I'm just not going to listen, I got 15,000 followers. We had 3.1 million views. And it's like, it's only popping when I'm talking about stars and everything like that. And I get it. You guys put faith in me, and I appreciate that because I'm actually in the music industry. I know the music industry. I went through 3 different distributors with the record label I was with, which was Bad Boy Entertainment. I've had fun, but I'm not gonna get on here every day and talk about, oh, what so-and-so do, da-da-da-da-da. We will talk about WAC 100. We will talk about the situation where they're gonna take off, I promise you. But for right now, this is what you guys to enjoy something different. I'm trying to encourage other vloggers that have high followers like myself and others to do the same thing. Utilize your tool, utilize your space for something that's educational for people at least once a week. There's days that we don't have any stories, and you guys know that as well as I do because you make up ones to talk about. All right, so right here, I want to zoom in on this a little bit. You guys see the detail again. This is crazy. And I guess this might be for some type of wedding. I was right. It looks like it's for some wedding, but if you guys will see the details, see the statues and everything that are hanging there, almost like little baby dolls. But beautiful. And there's some type of mural up here. Guys, look at this right here. This is some type of parchment. And like I said, the Asians were responsible for parchment. Silk Road. You guys should look it up if you never have a chance. Look up the Silk Road, Silk Network. And this is China government. Guys, if you see this on a rebroadcast or you're just tuning in, make sure you go to the back, to the beginning. Started off in Africa, and I'm just moving my way around here. So. And I almost walked past this display, particularly, which is the Asian display, and I'm glad I stopped. Oh, wow, look at this. So as you guys can see, look at that right there. And I can tell because it's not thick, this must be the same thing, some type of parchment paper, probably rice paper based on the color of it. As you guys can see, this is early world when the Asians probably first started utilizing paper and made these unique. And I'm not sure what type of ink they used, the dye they used or whatever, but let me see if I can zoom in and you guys can see the detail in it. Look at that. It's crazy. So I just thought you guys might want to see that. Now, you guys have all seen this stuff before. This is the stuff they usually traditionally in New Year's and the gods, they say, but those gods represent those New Years or whatever. This thing is huge. I wish you guys could see how big it is. It's huge. And then, as you guys always know, the dragon. I'm not sure whose burial site that was, but that was representative of that. All right, so we're gonna head up out of here. Yeah, I'll show you guys this real quick, because I want to go see the dinosaurs before it gets too late, and then I have to rush, and I don't want to rush. The summer hours haven't kicked in here yet, so we're all on time schedules when it comes to coming here. Well, here's some more tapestries they have hanging up here. You guys can check out, all inspired by Asia, different dynasties of Asia, Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, Mongolian, Siberian. And what I learned today, Russian influenced and colonized temporarily, as was China, but by the English. Is an early world musket. I wouldn't trust firing that thing, but and some unique knives and blades. That looks like a sickle right there. See that on Jeepers Creepers. It's used for cutting meat and things like that in particular. All right, let me share this once again. And guys, like I said, make sure you go back to the beginning if you just now tuned in. Make sure your kids get to see the Africa display. I want to make sure your kids get to see that and stuff like that or whatever. So, you know, this one's on me. You know, particularly anything to it or whatever. We'll talk about the stars later. I got you. I'm going to talk about, let me turn this around. While I'm walking, I can at least do that and give you an epilogue. So we're going to talk about Whack 100, what I think about him, the Jay Prince situation or whatever. I put up a video before. You guys can go check that out. I put that up actually before that actually happened. So not only did I give my, I guess you could say, my counsel as far as being in the music industry and how long he's been in it versus someone like myself, but I think I went the wrong way. Give me a second. I think I went the wrong way. I got lost in this exhibit. I think I did. Yep, right here. All right, so I just went through Asia. I'm going right now to jump on this elevator. And guys, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take you guys a little bit further. That right there was the Asia, y'all gotta excuse me, it is hot in here. That right there was just the Asia exhibit. Quite interesting. I just learned that actually Russia had some occupation within Mongolia, Siberia, the surrounding areas, which makes sense that you would see what's going on in Ukraine right now. I can't talk about that too much because I'll get flagged. Unfortunately, I don't like a lot of people talking about that. A couple people found that out. I had a buddy of mine, he had his channel taken out for 7 days for talking about Ukraine. He was talking good about it. So, you know, that's how much censorship it is on a particular subject. But I just left out of the Asia exhibit. If you go back to the beginning, you'll see me in Africa. I make my way from Africa and I kind of migrate from there. Then I start going to, where did I go to after that? Mexico and Central America. So I went to go check out the Mayan replicas that they had. I think some of that stuff in there is replicas. Most of the time it usually is.
Your attention,
just a second,
please. The museum will be closing in 30 minutes. Any security officer can direct you to an exit.
Yeah, fourth floor.
We hope you have enjoyed your visit.
Yep. All right, so guys, come on. So, what happens? It's crazy. What happens? Just give me 1 second. Just get off the elevator. So you guys. All right, so I came upstairs. I'm going to spend the last 30 minutes with you guys showing you guys the dinosaurs, all right? So, for one special person, that's a friend of mine. I got to start from out here. So, hold on, let me turn this around, guys. So, I've got to start this from out here because this is how big this thing is, all right? So, I'm going to pan in from this camera, and I'm going to walk the length of this thing, and then I'm going to come back out, and I'm going to show you in comparison. Like I said, I'm 6'3", so now I'm at floor level. There's probably an incline on it of about 2 feet maybe, So that's not a lie. It's not a lie. All right, so guys, give me a second. I'm about to pan it and walk it. Before I do that, I'm going to share this one more time so you guys can make sure you join in, all that stuff or whatever. I know this is different from what I usually do, with the stars and all that stuff, but I said let me do something different today. All right, so you guys ready? I'm going to show you the scale of how big this thing is. So, reminiscent kind of, this is what you guys see when you see Night at the Museum or whatever. And you can see this thing towering over me like it's huge. So this is the neck of it. And I'm gonna bring you guys around this end of it. That way I can walk it closer. But this is how far its neck goes out the door. It's huge.
방문문은 30분 후에 폐관합니다. 정비원이 출구로 안내해드립니다. 좋은 시간 보내시기 바랍니다. A vossa atenção, por favor. A vossa atenção, por favor. O museu será encerrado daqui a 30 minutos. Qualquer técnico de segurança pode direcioná-lo para uma saída. Esperamos que seja aproveitado a visita.
Just to give you guys a clue how big this thing is.
Fossils are places suggesting past. They are key to reconstructing the fascinating story of how life evolved on Earth.
So I did that so you guys can get a scale of how big this thing is. This thing is huge. All right, so since we're pressed for time, guys, we got 30 minutes. Let's make it happen. I'm gonna walk over here, show you guys the rest of, I guess you could pretty much say, well, yeah, there's one other side too, because they got these other ones that are distinct, but I'm gonna let you guys see what I will see. So I hope you guys had fun doing that. So this, I don't know what to tap. Armadillo type of looking. No, this might have been, actually, no, this is aquatic. So these are anthrodores. I think that's how you pronounce it. There's some particular type of what's it in. That's obviously his jaws. Yeah, the jawless first vertebrates. So these are all vertebrates and having spines, things that can find themselves very easily in crevices and things like that underwater, I'm assuming. So these are basically aquatic dinosaurs. Imagine that swimming at you. It's all over. And these are the jaw size of some of the teeth and jaws of some of the smaller sharks that are coming into that right there. So these are smaller sharks. These are not even big ones. As you guys can see, there's a lot of them. I'm gonna kind of zoom through here because like I said, I'm kind of pressed for time. If you guys want to donate, it's $STRINGERBELL 80, and I'll stay down here. I won't go back to Connecticut, and I'll come back tomorrow and film some more for you because it really, it's so pressed for time trying to do it like this. I've been in here, what, almost 2 hours going live with you guys? Yeah, almost 2 hours. And there's still so much to show you and explore, whatever the case may be. But this is for all my people that don't live here in New York City, in the New York City tri-state as we do, and get the enjoyment of that. Sometimes we forget that here in the New York City tri-state. We've got so much stuff to do, and we never take advantage of it. So I wanted to make sure you guys got to see. Now these are Neopterygians, Neopterygians, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Neopterygians, gores, whatever. Yeah. And what do I know? I'm in the music business, right? You know what I mean? I don't know what that is. Now this right here is interesting. This is a fossilized whatever this was. This is the Neopterygians. But look at the teeth on that thing. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that would have. I'm hoping that he was just in the vegetables. Let's hope he was just in the vegetation. And up in the sky right there, you can see, I'm not sure what type that is, but that's some type of, what's the name to it? Like I was telling my friend, they have stuff that's hanging from the ceiling and everything like that. This is definitely some type of ill monster or something like that. What is this? Letarian or something like that. I don't know what this is. But there's a lot of these different animals and sea. Like I said, this is aquatic display of dinosaurs. I never even went over this one. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Usually I'm over by the, what's the name and all that stuff. These are some type of crocodile. Jesus Christ. Look at the head on that thing. You see the head on this? Now, I don't know if these are replicas or whatever, but I know some of these are definitely, if they're even replicas, they're definitely cast of what originally is there, you know? That's crazy. And over there you got some other different reproduction states and things like that. Now, I got into an argument with a lady because she said the turtles didn't grow that big, right? Well, as you can see, this is a turtle. And I don't know how well you can see it, but do you see how huge this thing is? And I'm not sure what period this is from. Wait a minute. Rachel got, see, and just like I told you guys earlier, a lot of these things are gifts, so they moved over from other different locations of different museums. But this is some type of turtle, like I said. And you can see the face on it. This thing is huge. Look at it. Then if you go over here, there's other ones. And I don't know what type this is, but this one had a unique shell, different from the others. As you guys can see, there's a whole bunch of these things. Look at this one right here. Whoa. You guys check this out. The face on this thing, even though it's a little deformed or whatever, that's probably because where it's the sediment, it somehow or another enlarged it or faced it on the side. This thing is huge. And this was found by Alfred Shunward in 1973. Well, he lived up to 1973, so that was too long ago. That thing is huge. All right, we're going to move around a little bit more. Like I said, there's that huge turtle again. So that proves to the person I was arguing with, yes, turtles do get that big. Or have gotten that big. This, I'm not sure, but it looks like some type of crocodile, something like that, or some type of raptor. And here's a whole bunch of bones that must have been fused together doing some type of die-off or whatever. But as you can see, this is some type of crocodile that at one time or another existed. And this thing is, I wouldn't want that coming at me. And like I said, these are crocodiles and everything like that. And we got something else over here. I'm not even sure what this is. But I actually walked past this, but if you guys can see this thing, this is a mosasaur. And the mosasaur was something that you didn't want to walk into, obviously, or you would become very sore. This thing is huge. And it definitely had some type of fins. It's like two sets of fins. I can't tell if they were from the back or the front. So it might have been fins and feet. But these definitely, those are fins. Whenever elongated like that or whatever, and it's an aquatic creature, those are fins. Yeah, and see how they're slower right here? These are what it would have used as his hands, but the head on it is, I don't know how well y'all can see that. But like I said, the sediment is this, all these bones or whatever they found in sediment, so they're gonna be what they are. Up there, here's a pterodactyl. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in on that for you guys. You guys can see the pterodactyl right there. A lot of these things are hanging from the ceiling. And stuff. I'm gonna try to get up under it, but you guys can see how big that thing is. And that's its wingspan. Its wingspan is at least, I would say 9 feet. At minimum, at least 9 feet. Like, that's its wingspan right there. That's the best way I could get it in. It's huge. All right, so now we're with the Pethalosaurus, where the word plethora comes from. And These are just extended winged creatures, pterodactyls, massive hordes. I've heard of those before right there. That particular one that you see right there it had the head of like a seagull, almost it looks like, but huge. This is something or another, but I think that's the same thing. This is something's wing. Yeah, that is what that is. That's a wing. So that was actually one of them, and that's the wingspan of it right there, as you can see. Now that extends at least, Jesus Christ, I would say in any given batch, that's about 18 feet right there. It's like at least 18 feet. So whatever that belonged to, could you imagine how big that was? Here, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit closer so you guys can see, but this is actually one of it. It looks mummified. So it probably was in some type of sediment that was frozen or something like that. But as you can see, that's at least 18 feet. Now right there, that's probably just the joint, but where the actual, what's the name, would have connected into the shoulder bone. And then the rest of this right here would have been its wingspan. So you're talking about at least 18 feet right there. And imagine that flying over you. And as you can see right here, this whole thing right here, wingspan on that's probably about 9. So if you compare that from that to that, you see the very stark difference. Now I'm gonna walk over here, guys, and here's some other type of, I don't know what the hell that is. But it's also some type of aquatic life. But if you guys can see, this is how far over to its head it goes. So this is its head. And as you can see, it's huge. It's literally the scale from here to there. So that's why I think they have a lot of this stuff, like I said, on the ceiling, because if you put it down on the ground, it literally just would not fit as well. It's more stuff right there. Now I'm gonna try to make my way over. There's one other exhibit with the dinosaurs, which I think is this way. And those are more the land dinosaurs. Let me turn this around. Those are more the land dinosaurs, or what's gonna happen. Those are more the land dinosaurs and things like that, or whatever the case may be. You'd be surprised, like, some men are just pathetic, guys. Give me a second, guys. There's some more exhibits with the dinosaurs. Where are they located? And
This one big one in the second floor.
Second floor it is?
Yeah.
Is there anything
else?
else?
The main entrance?
Yeah, but is there anything else up here on the fourth floor here? I know there's those and then there's... Just make a circle?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I thought I got one. Yeah, here we go. Okay. But I'm glad I went over to that room because I never really frequented that room too much. So, guys, I'm going to do a quick little class course in here real quick, and then we're out because it's like hot as hell in here. So, all right. As I pan here, this is some more of the mastodon family. And as you can see, this thing is huge. Now, I'm not sure if these are replicas or whatever the case may be as far as the bones are concerned, but like I said, it would be color correct because they've been sitting in sediment. But just to give you an example for scale of how big this thing is, take a look at that. Now, this is another type of mastodon, and I'm not sure what this is, but it's something that I'm glad is extinct. I don't know about you guys, but once again, you can see the elongated, those will be the tusk, and you can see that it's elongated. So I'm figuring this one is the smaller the hunch, and this was a herd. So this is a whole herd that was together, and possibly they either recreated it or found them separately. And here's some more mastodons, serenians, which will all be part of that same family of the elephant. Most of these, I'm pretty sure most of these species are pretty much extinct, but if you can just see right there, that's a jawbone, and I'm gonna zoom in on its molar. That was its molar. So consumption or whatever they were eating, whether it was red meat or whether it was vegetation, I don't know. I just really don't even have the time to get into it because I want to move around here so you guys can see. These are smaller ones. I guess you would correct these with some type of camel. So I just said that too, camel. It looks like a camel. Because it's a smaller vertebrae. They look like mammals, excuse me. They look like that. And here's something else. These are some unique, different type of, what's the name over here? I think these are literally a lot of species that they only found a one-off of, or maybe, you know, 2 or 3 or whatever. But this will be compared to, I'm saying, a rhinoceros at the time. And you can see how huge this thing's head was. And these are different interpretations based on the skulls and 3D renderings, etc., etc. There's more bisons and things like that or whatever. I mean, even the sheer scale of this room, I don't know if you guys can see, but this room is huge. And so you're getting into American animals, buffalo, etc., etc., etc. And I think I was trying to go into the room with the dinosaurs, but there's another room. This is just, what's the name of that stuff? So maybe I got to go into another room. Give me a second, guys. I'll figure it out here and get back to you, all right? So give me 2 seconds, guys. Let's see what time it is. Yeah. I guess so. So guys, yeah, I guess that's my tour right there. I think I got like 7 minutes. Guys, there's another room with dinosaurs. You know where it is? I went to that one, but there's another one with like the Brontosaurus and all that stuff. Where's that at?
There are some dinosaurs past these next 2 halls.
Yeah.
Did you see the T-Rex room?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. The T-Rex, the Brontosaurus.
Straight through that one.
Go straight through. Thank you.
It's basically the first one after the main hall.
That's why I missed it. Thank you. All right, I found it now. So let's shoot over here real quick. See that on our way out. I literally got the workout. I literally got the workout of my lifetime going through this place. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm gonna walk down here to the end. Let you guys see this, because I'm not gonna be here without letting you guys see the dinosaurs. I actually went the wrong way here. I'm gonna turn this around so you guys can see a little bit better. I've already been in this room, but I wanted you guys to see this real quick before I leave up out of here. And I was like, okay, I know the other room was down here before. I have to pass through this room, the guy said, and it's gonna lead out to another room. So we're gonna see what happens here. Man, that can't be it. That's the bathroom, isn't it? Oh yeah. So the only thing we had to do was walk down and say, okay, so guys, we keep walking, look up. That's all right. So, okay, now I'm at the gift shop. Is there another room for dinosaurs?
To the right.
To the right. That's it. Thank you. All right. Yeah, this is like a whole labyrinth I just went through right there. Here we go, guys. All right, so let me turn this around. Go right here. All right, guys, so here's the room that I really wanted to bring you to as well. With the dinosaurs here. This actually looks like a real replica as far as, I mean, real deal as far as skin and everything like that. Here's one that's still encased in the bone here.
Your attention, please. Your attention, please.
You'd be surprised how quick you can go.
Museum will be closing in 10 minutes.
All right, so we got 10 minutes.
Security officer will direct you to an exit. We hope you have enjoyed your visit.
And these are called sauropods, which I believe could go in both water and aquatic as well. And as you can see, this guy right here, he wasn't as big as the rest of them, but he was big enough. You're not stopping that if he comes at you. And of course, here's the big guy out of all of them. Let's see if I can get him in here. That's the big guy out of all the big guys right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you guys up this platform so you guys can see it a little bit better. But that is the big guy out of the big guy. Look at this stuff. You guys see this? This thing is huge. I'm just going to walk it down. They keep making those announcements. I can't talk about them. Just to give you guys a scale of how tall this thing was. Check this out.
Attenzione bene, attenzione bene, il museo chiuderà tra 10 minuti. Gli addetti alla sicurezza sono a vostra disposizione per invitarvi le uscite. Ci auguriamo che abbiate gradito la nostra visita.
It is a raptor that they always talk about. There's one over right there. They were considered both primates and mammals. I didn't know that. And here's another one here, as you guys can see. And as far as the Brontosaurus, that's how far its tail comes out. So I'm going to zoom in on that one more, but you guys can see. That's how huge this thing was. I'm going to take a screenshot of that because that's just a dope picture. I'm going to take a picture and let you guys see. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to let you guys see on my scale how big this thing is. That's how big it is. This is how big this thing is. So you see, that is just the tail. All right, I'm just going to show you guys this and then I got to get out of here because they're getting ready to close. So, of course, I wanted to show you the big boys. T-Rex. There he is, and as you guys can see how huge this thing is. The scale of me, I'm 6'3". There's probably an enclave up there about, I don't know, 3 feet. So even at 6 foot, if I was standing on this enclave, that thing would still be towering over me. So these things were not small at all. And like I said, quite literally, they would have ran over you very easily. It wouldn't have been a problem, but you could see. I'm sorry, guys. I keep on squeezing because I'm taking screenshots as I'm doing this, but let me turn this back around so you guys can see for yourself. Hold on here. This is how big this thing is. So as you guys can see, this thing is huge. Now, I'm going to show you one more. Turn this around so you guys can see this right here. You get an idea what I'm talking about. Look at this. This is crazy. Like I said, this thing is huge, and this is a different one. I'm not sure what the name of this is. They kind of have them like scattered out anyway. But I promise you guys, make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL 80. I will come back here for you guys or whatever. Like, it's so much in here to see that it's like, it's hard to just encompass everything in one freaking time. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you guys one more time. This is what the Brontosaurus looks like in scale to me. Look at that. Huh? And as you can see, the tail goes all the way back to the back. So this thing is huge, like I said. And let me try to turn this up a little bit more and spread this out. You guys can see a little bit more. But this thing is huge. And like I said, that's its head. So if you can see in the scale of my head, there's probably about at least 15 feet. Literally 15 feet. So when I get back to Connecticut, guys, what I'll do is I'll try to chop this up a little bit more so you guys can see a little bit better. But let me turn it back into scale again so you guys can see. And as you will see, this thing is huge. Like, look at that. That's its neck right there. Now, I'm going to get me a picture of myself under this because I'm not leaving Connecticut this weekend. Whatever. All right, so let me see, guys. And then after that, I'm going to continue with you guys. I'm going to go out and let you guys see the rest of the building because I didn't even get you guys to see the building or anything else. So let's find our way up out of here, and that will be it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. I wanted to do something different today. I didn't even want to just talk about stars and all that stuff or whatever. I get so tired of talking about that stuff, and I just really need sometimes a break. I know a lot of you guys respect me for being in the music industry and all that stuff, but I can't spend every day, every upload, talking about what Cardi B did, talking about what this guy did, talking about what this guy did or this person did. It gets boring. It gets tiring. And I appreciate the thousands and thousands of views, but I can't do it. Which way out here?
Doesn't matter. You can go on either or side. There's 2 elevators.
Gotcha. All right. I need to get me a cigarette, and it's hot. I need something to drink, so make sure you guys donate to the Cash App so I can get something to drink. How about that? Starbucks for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I just wanted to do something different. I come down here all the time to film. When I come down from Connecticut, I usually get like a little itinerary of when I'm gonna film or whatever. So I just don't like play it by ear, you know what I mean, per se. But that was a lot to walk around. I at least like I don't know how much. And I didn't get to go to all the different floors. Guys, if this goes out a little bit, it's because we're in the elevator. But I didn't get to go to do that tomorrow. And we'll come, I guess, to see. But guys, if you didn't start on I started out in Africa today, and I went to that one particularly because of Black History Month nationally. But I want you guys to just check out everything, see what it's about, and show it with your kids. You know what I mean? Like that's the most important thing. Show it to your kids. Make sure they like it. Excuse me, which way out?
Just make a right straight out to Central Park West.
Thank you. All right, so we're out of here. Let me got you guys see. It's outside. This is the rest of the building. This place is huge, right? That's why I said, like, there's stairs up there. Like, there's so much stuff that I didn't even check out. So I'm gonna have to come back and do that with you guys. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So I think it's this way. It's this way. All right, so give me a second, guys. I'm getting out of here. I need a cigarette so bad too, and something to drink. Thank you, guys. Good night. Something to drink and hopefully.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Oh my God, air. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good. You got it. All right. All right, guys. So I'm out of there. Whoo! I need a cigarette so bad, you guys. You gotta know. I gotta stop smoking cigarettes. I'm getting terrible at that. But I'm gonna pan the camera around or whatever. I hope you guys had fun at that. It's starting to get darker later, so that's a cool thing. This is a very old building. I think it's repurposed at one time. I think it was like a church or maybe even possibly a home. I'm not sure. I didn't do the history on it. I know usually I'm good at that, right? I didn't do that. Anyway, let me turn this around. You guys can see the actual scale of this building. Like this building is huge, as you can see. And it wraps around the block. So I'm gonna show you guys that in a minute. But right now, I'm gonna get a cigarette. And make sure you guys hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. I'm gonna be going live some more tonight, of course. I know this ain't usually what I do, but you know what, so what? I'm tired of doing vlogs every 5 minutes about hip hop artists and what they've done and all that stuff. It gets boring, it gets tiring, the research into it. I have to differentiate myself from other people. And so I literally, sometimes when I'm at home in Connecticut, I sit there for like 2 or 3 hours and I'm just like, okay, what am I gonna talk about? How's it gonna be different than what the other person is talking about? And usually I find a way to do it, but the thing is, I just get tired of doing it. And I was like, I hope to show other bloggers, especially bloggers that are way older than me. I want to specifically say that to you guys. Start finding something else to talk about. We've got thousands of followers, you know, here on YouTube. And you guys, some of you guys are in the triple digits. I'm just in the 5 digits. So I think just once out of a week, we know there's always times when there's always a dead story moment or whatever. When I went to college, they used to call it 10-day nation. So it means every 10 days a different story would come up and be prevalent and most particular that everybody be paying attention to. Now it's more like a 72-hour nation. But take the time at least once a week and utilize your freaking for something better than just talking about gossip, talking down on each other, whatever. That's all I'm trying to do. So if I can't do it on my own, and you guys see for your own stuff, I get thousands and thousands of views, and for the most weirdest stuff sometimes. Sometimes the stuff that I think is not going to go anywhere, that's the one you guys pay attention to. Like the one with Cardi B that's at 1.2 million views. I'm like, how? You know what I mean? So it's more subjugating your guys to now starting to be more responsible with social media. And as you see how YouTube is changing, and there was another update today, that's for us to get over 10,000 or more followers. If you don't, it don't pertain to you. But in particular with shorts. So YouTube is changing. And so you're gonna have to start being more creative. You're gonna have to start doing more than just ascertaining a few seconds of a story and giving your own diatribe on it. You're gonna have to do something different. And even that's going to the museum or walking around New York City, letting people see it, giving your own personal testimony as far as what goes on in the music industry, things like that. You're gonna have to do more. And especially if you have the intention of getting monetized or whatever else the case may be, like many of us do. So if you're a new YouTuber, I would just tell you this, start doing something different. Don't do the same thing that everybody else does, coming with the gossiping and the lying and making up stories. You're gonna get sued for one. Right, Sherelle? Shout out to Sherelle's World. But you're gonna get sued. You're gonna get sued 9 times out of 10. The one that everybody's putting this stick on is defamation of character. I don't know how this works out electronically or digitally online, but evidently it's a premise around it. Enough for the state to substantiate that, hey, listen, this could be brought in front of litigation. So that's what it is now. So you got to be very particular and careful what you say, not to mention the already pre-existing laws that already go with cyberbullying and all kinds of cyber laws that they enacted now going back 10 years ago. So let me tell you guys this. If you're a new YouTuber and you're new here or you're considering doing a YouTube page or whatever, start finding things of what YouTube is trying to do is get back to the premise of where it first started back in 2007, 2008, where it was a place for creators. It wasn't a place for people that were mimicking or pantomiming others. It was made for people that were creative. And I can tell you somebody that lives here in the New York City tri-state, I appreciate people that come here from different cities that add to the creativity of New York City, but I don't like the people that come to New York City that make New York this conservative hub that it never has been and never will be. It wasn't even like that when the Dutch ruled this shit. So for those in the New York City tri-state specifically, I want you to start getting more creative with your YouTube pages. Start being more attentive of what you're saying to people, and realize that a lot of things that you say online on YouTube can get you sued. And you've seen an example now, Sherelle, I'm not taking shots at her again, but she got sued 3 times within a 3-year period. That's ridiculous. For what you said on YouTube, for a couple of views, couple likes. I do it every day, and I think a lot of it has to do, with me in the music business and everything like that. But more particularly, I've seen other people from the music industry that are YouTubers that don't have to do that. So, and another thing too, I'm gonna do a whole separate live about that in a few minutes, about Whack 100, Dre Prince, and that whole ordeal. Because I did the first part, so I got to finish it off and conclude it. You guys have got to start putting your attention to something else besides gossiping. I don't care if you're black, white, everybody got their version of it. That much I do know. If y'all ain't talking about Black China and Amber Rose, and y'all talking about Kim Kardashian. If y'all ain't talking about Kim Kardashian, then y'all talking about what J-Lo did. Each demographic got their own point of vanity and narcissism nowadays. So let's be clear. Moving into 2023, YouTube is not going to allow you to make money. YouTube is definitely not going to allow you to monetize. That's for definite. There's so many parameters. I can't even begin to tell you the parameters around when you monetize your channel, what you're, you know what I mean, susceptible to. You got to be real PG rated for the most part. So I would express to you guys, especially this. Don't be sloppy. Don't be dangerous. Don't get on here, chastising people too much. Don't get on here making fun of people too much. Don't do any of that, because what they're going to do is specifically, and I'll be honest with you, they're going to hold Black and Latin content creators to a different sphere than they are you. And don't talk about it, but I did one, and I talked about how Latin and Black content creators, both male and female, take 35% less from content creator services that pay out than anybody else as far as ad revenue. And particularly the girls, believe it or not. They almost make 42% less. So the guys actually scale a little bit better. So I'll go into a whole diatribe about that when I get back to CT and all that. But right now, I want to just home in on the subject that we need to talk about. So we're going to get on your whack. We're going to talk about it. So be ever well of that. I'm going to take you guys and show you the front of this building so you guys can see the scale of this building real quick. And then after that, I'm going to end this because I need to charge my battery. So guys, give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to show you here and pan over here. I'm gonna pan over here real quick and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about and how big this place is. So as you can see, oops, sorry about that, guys. And right here across the street, this is Central Park. This is Central Park West. For any of y'all that want to know. But this is actually how big the building is. So this was repurposed a long time ago, but it made way and made space for what you see as a museum now. Very long time ago, but, and as you can see, let me zoom in up here. Statues on the top. This place is huge. And it literally extends down. Hold on, I gotta go this way anyway, so I'll show you guys. But let me zoom out a little bit. The pillars itself, I don't know how to tell you how big they are, but this place is huge. And so it not only extends from right here, but it goes all the way down here. So you see where that flag is and that first cone is right there. That's how big this building is. So this building is very huge. I've got to go back this way, so I'm going to go back this way. But I just wanted to come up here, guys, give you something different. Instead of talking about freaking superstars and stuff like that every day on my vlog, it's getting tiring. It's getting boring. So if you guys got some suggestions, you got other stuff that you want me to talk about, please forward them to me. And please make sure they're not about stars, chatter, whatever. I'm real interested now doing a lot of response videos. I think I'm gonna start doing that. Somebody suggested that to me, so I'm gonna say that. Miss Annette Falls out of Chicago, I hope you enjoyed that. You're the one that suggested. You said, I want you to go check that out, so I did it. She donated to the cause, so I appreciate that, guys. Also, make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80, that's Stringer Bell 80 on Cash App. Also, there's a PayPal link in the description box if you do not have Cash App. Also, there's a GoFundMe link in the description box, and also an Amazon wish list. So, guys, you want to pick me something on the Amazon wish list, I would love it, and I appreciate it. Particularly get that computer that you see on there, or that camera. So, other than that, guys, this is my time. I am Davin Lewis doing something different today. We're not talking about stars and who's sleeping with who and blah, blah, blah. It's from the beautiful Upper West Side here in New York City, an area I'm more than familiar with, but I know you guys have never seen me come over here and record. I'm over at Trump Tower and everywhere else, but you guys get to see this. This is all New York now, right here. This is the planetarium, man. Right there, you see that? Right there, that's a planetarium in there. So there's more that I didn't get to check out with you guys. And this over here, this is all Central Park. So guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. Your boy trying to get something to eat. I'm hungry. I was in there for a minute, like. I was in here for a minute. So y'all make sure y'all donate, give me something to eat. I'm starving. And I don't want any McDonald's either. You know where I want to go? I want to go back to the restaurant that I went to, my restaurant 9. So if you guys want to donate, throw some money in, right there would be the place. So it's about $20 to eat over there. Donate $20 so I go over there and eat or whatever. And we're even. Because I just spent 2 hours in there. I'm not saying it like that. I'll play with you guys. But if you guys would, I appreciate it. $STRINGERBELL80. That's Stringer Bell 80 on Cash App. Also, there's a PayPal link in the description box. Also, there is a GoFundMe link in the description box if you do not utilize or have Cash App. I'm going to say that again. If you do not utilize or use Cash App, because a lot of people say that to me. So there's your other option right there. Also, if you do not utilize those, you go to Amazon wish list, pick me up something there. It's more than fine. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Go back to the beginning of this if you're just now tuning in. Make sure you hit up the Cash App. I just spent about 2 hours in the museum. I did that on part of Black History Month. I wanted you guys, your kids, to see that. I went to the African different displays that they had in there. I also went to the Asia. I went to, there was 2 others I went to too, but they're all in the video. I kind of skimmed past the dinosaurs. I didn't really get to do that, in fact, as much as I wanted to. If I stay down here from Connecticut tonight, I'll go back tomorrow and finish filming. If not, I promise you guys, I'll come back, revisit, and we'll do it again. But right now, guys, I need y'all to hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Again, that's $STRINGERBELL80, Stringer Bell 80 on Cash App. Also, if you don't have Cash App, you use PayPal, GoFundMe, or the Amazon wish list, all found in the description box. My name is Davin Lewis. I will talk to y'all in about an hour. Later.